So that's the nuts and bolts of using embedded packet capture. Just a little bit of cleanup here. We know our show commands. I went through those, the show monitor capture buffer and show monitor capture point. What we can do now is start tearing this down. So we can go ahead and first off is we can disassociate this. I don't know if I still have that command in there. Don't feel like typing today. I've been typing really piss poor. So you could just go ahead and use monitor capture point, disassociate, and then FA1 underbar 1. And you don't have to specify the buffer because, as I said ad nauseum, capture point can only be associated with one buffer. So once you do this, it knows which buffer you're disassociating from. So if we now do our show parameters, either one, you can look at the buffer or the capture point. You can see that it is not associated with that buffer any longer. And then to delete the buffer, what I like to do is I like to take this configuration and just do a no on it. And you should be able to hit enter here. And it'll tell you that the capture buffer is deleted. And the same thing here, I'm going to take a look at my capture point and do the same thing, just use a no. That's why I really like this configuration bit. I think for this you do have to type in quite a bit more information to delete it. You have to specify the interface. I don't think you have to specify the direction. And according to Cisco documentation, you haven't just deleted a capture point, you've destroyed it. So feel good about that. You are the destroyer of capture points. So now if we issue our show commands, there shouldn't be any output because we only had one buffer and one capture point. It says, it does not exist. It just doesn't give you any output for the capture point. So that's Cisco IOS embedded packet capture EPC in action. As I mentioned in the theory lecture, most of the time you're going to want to use something that's a little better suited for packet capture, such as a sniffer, laptop with Wireshark, or if you have a network analysis module installed in your router, then those are all better options. But for situations where you don't have one of those options, or where you just want a quick and dirty, this actually works fairly well. Again, a point that I've made probably more than once is that with packet captures, most of the work goes into planning what you're going to capture. One significant limitation with this EPC is the size of the buffer. You saw that we can only set up to 512K on here. Documentation says it goes much bigger than that, so I guess that depends on your platform / iOS version. But that's something to keep in mind. So you're not going to get a ton of data here, and the analysis tools on the router themselves aren't very full featured. So you're going to have to most likely transport this someplace else to have the analysis done. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me in the Packet Lab today and looking at embedded packet capture.